Pretty.
Hey, garden gals and guys, it's Steph with Tiny's Garden, and I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm coming to you building 2 bouquets just from working with my hands and kind of rotating them as I put them together in a bouquet. Now this is kind of a new way for me to do it. I've seen it when other people do it a lot, but I usually put bouquets in a mason jar and have to cut the stem somewhat short, etc. But I want these to be able to travel well in a paper sleeve, something like this, and then people can arrange them when they get to their house. So a little different today. For those of you who are new here, I am Steph. I am a hobby gardener in zone 5B/6A in the Chicago suburbs. Now, first off, it's absolutely very hot in my office here. This is my office, and this is a sliding glass door that I left open accidentally when I let my dog out. So if I start glistening, I'm okay, I'm just warm. So what I did this morning is I just went out to my cut flower garden. I've got 6 in the front, 8 in the back, and started cutting things that looked like they were ready. A lot of different zinnias, some lisianthus, some sunflowers, and a couple little dahlias. Now, we had a storm come through a few days ago this week, and things are looking a little windblown out there, to say the least. I just did a video I posted last time where I showed kind of the damage of the storm, and you know, the beds are looking windblown, but just because you have a storm come through and some things are a little windblown or looking like they're laying on their sides, you can still get good bouquets out of them. So stay hopeful, my friends. So that's what I wanted to do today with some of these that I picked, and show even if your flowers aren't looking the best out there after a lot of wind or a storm or something like that, you can still cut them and get some life out of them, especially things like lisianthus. If you've never seen lisianthus before, this is lisianthus, and it's incredible. Now all these were laying on their sides, still attached to the root at the base of the plant, but I'm not gonna let these go to waste. Now, some of these at the end you'll see are very crooked. I don't charge for my flowers. I'm giving these away, but I know some of you do. So would I charge for those? I think you could probably make it work in a bouquet as long as it looks nice. But like stem by stem, if you're selling to a florist or something, I don't know how they would feel about these, but I'm not an expert in that, so don't quote me. But for giving away, absolutely, these I can work in a bouquet. Oh, for sure, look at those blooms. This is First Love lisianthus, which is new for me this year, and I love it. And then this is, I'm gonna have to put it on the screen because I forget, but it's a newer lisianthus for me, a different kind, and it's very pretty too. You can see the inside there has a little burgundy color. So I'd like to make 2 bouquets, one for a very close family friend. We're going over to her house this afternoon, and then one for one of our nannies whose mom unfortunately passed away. So I'm hoping we can lift her spirits a little bit. So I'd like to make 2. I'm thinking maybe one with the lisianthus and dahlias, because those are more pastel-y colors you can see, and then one more cottage garden-y that's zinnias and sunflowers and black cherry, sweet black cherry dianthus, things like that. So we'll see what we come up with. The only supplies I'm using are 2 rubber bands. I had 2. There she is. There she goes. 2 rubber bands. My shears, these are ARS shears, and these are my favorite. They are in my Amazon storefront down below if you're interested. Pretty affordable. I got these off of Amazon for $25, I think. But really nice. And then this is my Kraft looking paper for bouquets. I also believe I got this off of Amazon, which I linked in my storefront. This is actually a little big. I think this is the 18 inch. It's either 15 inches or 18 inch across the front, and it's quite large. So next time I would probably go down a little bit, but these work really nice as a little sleeve for your bouquets. And a stapler, because those sleeves are so big. If I feel like it's just absolutely engulfing the whole bouquet by keeping it open, then I would just turn it in half like this and turn it into a smaller one by stapling. So I have a stapler just in case. And this beautiful Voyage to Lavender lisianthus fell off the stem, but I'm gonna keep her for a little bud vase because she's too pretty to throw away. Okay, let's do Lisianthus and Dahlias first because they have the longest stems. And so I think it'll be fairly quick. And I am trying to do this quickly because we're leaving soon. But what I'm doing with my Lisianthus is I am taking all the leaves off. So every time I harvest, I'm stripping the leaves because when the leaves go into the water that your bouquet is in, it can kind of contaminate it and not give you as long of a good base life for all the flowers that are in your bouquet. So I strip the leaves, any stems that I don't want on there, I cut off, and then we have a nice clean stem for your bouquet. I'm gonna wait till the end to cut them all the same length so I can see what length with all the stems will be best to cut it at. And then I'm just grabbing and placing to see what looks nice. Okay, this stem at the bottom of this dahlia is pretty big, so I'm gonna cut it a little shorter so it's more manageable. And that dahlia there is Fairway Spur, I believe. So I am just placing the stem and rotating it around as I place it to see what formation looks good, especially with the ones that are going, I want it to be in a spot that it looks good. If I have a stem that looks like this, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one so that I have two stems and it's easier to work in. I don't do that all the time, but for something like this, I think it'll be easier to work that in. And actually, I'm just gonna cut this one there as well. So beautiful. First love, Lisianthus. And see, now I've got both of those stems with the buds that are going, and it doesn't bother me. Blends right in. Here's how we're looking. I'm loving it. That baby stem's gonna have to go in a bud vase. Not gonna waste her. So that one I just put down the center, and you can see the volume it gives to the bouquet. So I don't know if that's quote unquote how the pros do it, but I saw that that one had a lot of open blooms and I wanted it to take up some space, so it looks really nice in the middle. So I'm sure there's lots of different ways to do it, and I'm sure there's professional names for a lot of those, but you can do it if you're a home gardener too and just figure it out as you go. Okay, here's another one that I'm gonna cut and bring her down there. My gosh, so pretty. Couple more left here. I mean, for you cafe au lait lovers, check her out. Oh, I've gotten about 3 or 4 blooms off of her this year, and she really is pretty. My breakout dahlia, which is similar to this, but not the same, did not grow this year. Again, I've been trying to grow that one for a couple years now, and it just has not happened, and I hear it's so beautiful, and I think I might even like it more than this. They're often compared to each other, but no dice. I'm gonna keep trying. Oh, where should we put you? We go all the way up here? No, I kinda wanna see you more than that. Here or over here. Oh, I think that's a good spot. Yeah, I'm liking that. And then Blizzard dahlia. Blizzard is an excellent white dahlia that has a lot of production and is usually the first to bloom for me. We're gonna put her right here. That one up a little bit, and this one up a little bit, and then you right there. And now I've got some dahlia presents on this side too, and that's it. Yeah, that's it. First one is done. I'm proud of myself. That was like 6 minutes. And you've got a beautiful full bouquet. I'm not gonna lie, this is almost giving me bridal vibes. Okay, Stephanie, but I love that. Oh, I love that. And I'm a punchy color in your face kind of girl, but I do really like this. So what we do next is you can see all these different stem lengths. So I'm gonna cut them pretty much to where everything's the same. So for me, that's looking about right here. You can see close up. I'm just gonna come in, and cut. If some are a little longer, it's not a huge deal. but that looks nice. I'm proud of myself. You never know what you can do until you try. Then I'm gonna take my rubber band and come around pretty high. And this is so nice and full that I actually don't think I need to staple the craft paper. I think it's gonna be just fine. And down and through. I know there's a fancy way to do this rubber band very quickly so you get at least 2 or 3 times wrapped around, but I don't know that way, so I just put it on there. There is this. So now let's wrap it in craft paper. It makes it easy to transport, and then I'll put it in water until I give it to the person. And tuck it in there. Maybe. Definitely big enough. There we go. I love it. Yeah, I think that's actually looking perfect. Good size. Now, if I were charging for these, and again, I'm not a flower farmer, I don't rely on this as an income. Well, I'm kind of thinking about it, but that's for another day. These plants that are in here, or I should say these blooms that are in here, are expensive blooms because they're dahlias and they're lisianthus. And you can get an idea of what these are priced per stem if you look online through the different markets. So look up, Midwest flower markets, what stems are going for, etc. If you take the Floret cut flower course workshop, which I did a couple of years ago, she has great information in the big book you get with what the average price per stems are of each kind of flower bloom based on your area. So if you have an abundance of a certain bloom in one area, it might be less expensive than another one. So if you're thinking about it or on the fence about taking that course, I highly recommend it. But I would charge more for this bouquet because it's got all these quote unquote more expensive flowers in it. So like to me, this is easily a $50 bouquet. And if you think about what you've ordered before from florists that are most likely not all locally grown, I mean, this is probably prettier than a $50 bouquet from there. Not to knock on florists, you do what you have to do, but I do prefer to support locally grown flowers when I can. So anyways, these are gonna go in the water, and let's make our second one. It's just food for thought when you're talking about pricing for bouquets, because I follow a lot of cut flowers groups on Facebook and whatnot, and people are often asking, what would you price this bouquet at? What would you price this bouquet at? And I think it's important, and I've heard this too from a lot of the giants in the cut flower farm industry, to not underprice your bouquets, because when you're underpricing your bouquets, then you're bringing down the market for everybody. And there are people that rely on this as a profession, and it's not cheap, especially with inflation. You have to think about your labor, you have to think about your cost, all of that goes into it. So I see why it's important not to underprice. So I would even venture to say, if you're selling or thinking about it, if you're debating between one price or another, post it at the higher price and then see what happens. If they're not selling, or you've asked for feedback and people are saying, okay, maybe a little less, then you can always go down. And just like that, as I'm talking to you about that, I'm gonna start kind of right here with all these zinnias, and then let's add these guys in. Oh, this cute little petite branching sunflower. I wanted to keep that on, but coming off now. You might be a little short for a bed vase. Let's go real full tilt flower child here. Work it, work it. Okay, so we'll put sunflowers in here too. Okay, I'm starting over. That went haywire. I'm gonna start with a couple of the bigger vocal flowers, like sunflowers first, and see how that works. Isn't she pretty? Move this so you can see it. I'm pretty sure this is Desert Sun branching sunflower. I grew her from seed, though you can direct seed them. I actually grew them for my mom, and then, long story short, it didn't work out to go down and visit her to give them to her because I was in the hospital for my twins. So I grew them in my bed, and I love them. I'm definitely growing them again. They branch and they give you a lot of blooms. Now we'll come in with some zinnias. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that you would do some of the bigger ones first, we'll come in around here. Maybe bigger sized ones, yes. Right, and it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm giving them away in these not burlap, but in these craft paper sleeves. Let's let that one be seen because she's so pretty. So when they get home, they're gonna take them apart and arrange them like they want. 5 minutes, 5 minutes. My husband's ready to go. Chimney rudbeckia. I'm gonna put a bunch of different kinds of those in here. These finally bloomed for me this year. I think it's a great cut flower, different variations within. Mine just took a little longer this year because the seedlings I grew from seed were a little weak looking when I put them in the ground. Look at that one. And this is an example of why they call it chimney rudbeckia, because it's like a chimney sweeper. You know, you think of like Mary Poppins, chimney, chimney. Love it. And I have some celosia. This is glowing embers, something. I'll put it on the screen because I can't remember. But this is one of the Flora originals, really pretty. Gives a spiky component. We'll do one on the other side. Golden hour zinnia, another one of Flora's originals. This is one of my favorite varieties that I got from her. Let's put it next to something that's not yellow, so there's contrast. That and unicorn zinnia, which I think this is a part of. My two favorites, I'm pretty sure. And though this is not a Florida original, this is just a Benary's Giant coral zinnia. And this is my new favorite, Benary's Giant. I got these from Johnny's. Look at that punchy color. Yes! Queenie Lime Yellow. First year growing her. She's pretty. I think this is the apricot mix straw flower. Loving this year. I'm hurrying. Yes?
That one's ready?
Oh, that one broke. Yeah. Okay, this is a hurried rush job. But I'll take that. I'm gonna put the rubber band around it. This one's a little droopy, but let's tuck her down in there more. So more of a cottage vibe here. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. They're gonna arrange them like they want. Pretty squished back here. But I'm on a time limit. I'm actually gonna cut this one first because there's a lot of different lengths. Let's get this rubber band nice and high here so these things stay upright. Come on. It's not exactly glamorous here, but we don't have to be, do we? No. Okay, I can stand that. I can stand that for sure. Putting it around here. I think this one's gonna fit too. And there we are. Okay, so we are done. This is how we finished up. And I'm really hurrying now because my husband wants to leave. So I just put these in the water, and then when I'm ready to give them to them, they can take them out and travel with them easily. Thanks for coming along with me today. I hope that was helpful and encourages you to get out there and just cut and create and trial and error and see how it works for you. You can have beautiful backyard blooms too and create some really nice bouquets on the go for those you love. Comment below and let me know which one's your favorite bouquet. I'd have to say mine is the Lysianthus. I know I'm talking really quickly, but I'm trying to wrap this up. Comment below and let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel to follow along with all things garden. We'll see you in the next one. Happy planting, everybody. Give me a thumbs up and like this video if you enjoyed it. It really helps my channel. Thanks for your support. Bye.